Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome award-winning, multi-platinum country music icon and star of the upcoming Fox series Monarch, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green.
He's got the run, but is it enough? It's a drag race to the finish. Culver goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
And there it is, green flag in the air, and we are a go. Curb, curb, curb again. Oh! And he's gonna make it work as they're 3 tenths back. Sir, you can't park there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to All Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, we are coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. We are running the Chicago Street Course with the beautiful Super Tropheo series. Qualifying has just finished, but before we continue with this, let's talk to the other person in the booth next to me. It's Mr. Joe Hutchings.
Welcome to Chicago, and this is your native Chicagoan in the booth. It's so weird to say that. Anyways, welcome to Chicago, and let's tear up the streets of downtown Chicago.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. Very close quarters, very high octane, tight turns, a bunch of passing zones that we could see tonight. A couple laps in, we'll take you in one of the Lambos to give Joe the opportunity to take you around the Chicago Street Course. But let's hit that starting lineup real fast. Scott Ramler on the pole. Ken Huber starting in second. Michael Rupp, Jesus Pastillas in fourth. Your third row, it's Daniel Krim, Josh Vidal. Row 4, it's Simon Grills and Nate Orlowski. And shotgun on the field, it's Jake Zidow. Joe, give us a kind of rundown on how it's going to work tonight, because as I was watching practice, everything is very, very tight around the racetrack, but it's also really, really bumpy.
This track is the roughest track we're probably going to run on. And with that, you're going to have to figure out your tire strategy, figure out fuel, try not to bounce it off the wall. I was nice and I gave these guys an extra fast repair just to be on the safe side, because, I mean, if you're looking at the field gridding up right now, you can see how close that wall is. I mean, it is there. There is no runoff. There is nothing. This is the tightest course that we will run this season. There's actually elevation changes on this track. You actually will go over some railroad tracks. There's an elevation change right by the statues for Congress Plaza. So it's going to be entertaining to watch, and it is going to be absolutely chaos at the beginning of this race.
Yeah, you mentioned before we went live tonight that you did give these drivers an extra fast repair out there, with it being a more difficult version of the racetrack, being very tight. There's also a chance we could see a safety car out there. If the track gets blocked and we need it, you'll throw the safety car and we'll rack everything up and get going again. But I'm looking forward to this race. This is a first on the channel with the Super Tropheo series. We did Long Beach a very long time ago on the channel with one of the Formula cars. Like I said, a long time ago. No, that wasn't on the channel, Joe. That wasn't my channel.
Huh.
But glad to have you all here. If you're on TikTok, tune in, talk up, everybody. Brendan, we see you. I'm doing good. I would assume Joe's doing good. Tonight's been a really fun event so far, as we're just about halfway through a parade lap. Check out all our sponsors in the description via the YouTube or Facebook videos. And for all the people on Facebook, YouTube is implementing a brand new video policy where those videos are only going to last for 30 days. So you will need to go to YouTube to see all the past races from now on. I don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it. It's unfortunate. But at least we'll have YouTube to archive all these races throughout the year and throughout past seasons. Just a heads up there, if you go back and look for races on Facebook, you're going to have to go to YouTube. But Joe, we are just a couple turns away. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. All of it helps the channel. Blow it up if you're on TikTok. Let's get ready to go. 45 laps around the Chicago street course. Joe, thank you for joining me. We are about to get going. Onto the front stretch they go. Barney the flag man giving him the green flag. It is out and we are a go. Down into turn number 1. So far so good. No fatalities. And already we have a little bit of a battle with Pastillas. And behind him, Daniel Krim and Josh Vidal, the usual suspects, driving around each other.
I'm glad they got through turn 1 cleanly.
You and me both, pal. But already we're looking at single files.
Oh yeah, you got to get single file. This track is way tight. Even though it looks really wide, and in some spots you can see where it's, 4 opens up to 5 lanes wide, and depending on if it's got a left-hand turn lane or whatever. It's not. Not when you're moving at these speeds. Another thing you have to look at with street courses too, you have road crown that you have to deal with, and it is not fun. You can, if you look at some of the lines in certain spots, like
Josh Vidal with an incident. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. Going around the park, and he's just going to lose it. Able to let everybody by, and I think he's going to be able to continue. Doesn't look like there is a huge amount of damage on the front of that number 26 Lamborghini, but back to live. Joe, what were you saying?
Anyways, you have to deal with the road crown, all right? They didn't repave the track, or they only repave certain spots, so you still have... So you can kind of utilize some of that road crown, basically call it banking in certain spots of the track, pretty much through Congress Plaza, which is where all the statues are. It's that section right off of Michigan Avenue. They're going to be coming up to it here shortly.
Joe, we'll give it to you in a couple laps once everything gets squared away and you could explain the Chicago street course, but we're having a really close battle for the lead right now. Ken Huber in the yellow number 20, Scott Rambler in the blue and yellow 57 on point. Just about a half a second separating the two, and just look how fast they're going through these turns. Well, I'm used to seeing NASCAR vehicles on this racetrack. These guys are carrying way too much speed, way more speed than those NASCAR stock cars.
Well, that's the point of a road racing car compared to, a stock car if that's supposed to be on an oval.
Yeah, I made that same comment earlier and you laughed at me.
I know, and I used it against you. Haha, no kidding. Yeah, the stock cars ran here. Shane Van Gisbergen pretty much gave the middle finger to everybody in NASCAR. It was kind of great.
The first year, and I think it was Alex Bowman last year.
Correct. And SVG did it in the rain too, and this track is a monster when it gets when it starts raining. They had monsoon rains that season, and they were using all the city's equipment to try anything and everything to get the water sopped up out of this place, and it was just a river. Just proves that, some of these streets in Chicago have poor drainage, but we're not going to flame the city of Chicago too much. The city I work for is not any better. Oh, I said that on broadcast.
You definitely did say that on broadcast. As they're going by the statues. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking street course. Scott Rambler's going to pop the wall.
And you know what? If you're not scraping the wall, you're not using the hood tractor truck.
Well, Joe, as Scott Rambler is going to hit the front stretch, take us around the Chicago street course.
Okay, so coming by the start-finish line, which is lined up with the famous Buckingham Velton, he's going to be coming into turn 1 here. This is going to have him heading east on Balbo towards Lakeshore Drive. And he's going to bust his 90-degree right-hand turn, go ripping down southbound Lakeshore Drive along the lakefront here, heading towards the Field Museum with, the home of the Chicago Bears on the left side. We're not going to, not for long. Anyways, he's going to come up Roosevelt here, come back up to Columbus Drive. And this is kind of a center straight. And he's going to be coming up to a left-hander right here. This is kind of an off-camber kind of corner a little bit. When I was doing some testing, he's going to take Balbo over here, come over the Metro South Shore Line tracks into the right-hander on Michigan Avenue. And then he's going to come up through the Congress Plaza, where you got two very famous statues on the inside. I can't remember the name of them. I'm a very bad Chicagoan. But anyways, right-hand turn back on Jackson here. Back over the South Shore Line. Those are your two elevation changes going over the railroad tracks. Right-hander back onto Columbus, which is the pit straight. And this is the lap at the Chicago Street Course.
Looking at pit road, Joe, it looks like it's going to be very, very difficult to get onto, especially if you're into traffic. How are some of these drivers going to be able to do that? Are they going to have to talk over comms or be like, hey, I'm pitting in, I'm going to stay right, go long in the turn? Because just with how close Ken Huber is to Scott Ramler, that could end in a heck of an incident, causing both of them to be knocked out of the race.
Well, they can communicate with each other or not. I know right now that they're actually sitting in a lobby together, so you don't know if they're going to communicate that. Gentlemen, driver rules, yeah, I would say, hey, we're going to pit road. Let's settle this on the track and not a pit road. That's what I would do. But in this situation, we got two highly competitive drivers that are going for points here. Scott kind of fell behind in the point standings a little bit. Ken's got the lead right now. So Scott's going to try to do anything and everything to stay out ahead of Ken.
Yeah, Ken is 100% going to want to stay in that second position and put the pressure on Scott Ramler. And Scott Ramler is going to do everything he can to win out on every race he can be here. But it looks like we're going to have a battle for P3 as the 9 of Michael Rupp and the 6 of Jesus Pastillas. They're under half a second separating each other as they're crossing the start-finish line. Already on lap 6 during tonight's race.
Yep. Last race, Rupp was in a really, really good battle that ended up putting him on the podium. Ryan in the chat is asking, hot beef or deep dish? Yes. Shameless plug, Lou Malnati's Pizza if you're ever in Chicago. Go to
I
Portillo's,
don't tend to be.
I'm unfortunately going to be there. When I mean by unfortunate, I'm going up there for a funeral. Rest in peace, Chris.
But thank you everybody for tuning in, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or even TikTok. Come chat with us, hit that like button, subscribe, and follow if you can. It helps out the channel. This is a really nice battle brewing between Michael Rupp and Jesus Pastillas.
I'm looking a little bit further back in the battles too, and you got newcomer Simon Grills going and battling with Nate. They were pretty close to each other. Oh, Simon just blinked out.
He's back. But you say newcomer, he's been on this channel quite a bit within the last couple years since its inception. It's good to see him back racing around basically any race course. Glad to see him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Glad he's here.
As he is having a blinking issue. As Jesus with an issue.
Oh no. Oh, the front end's pushed in on that thing.
Going into turn 1.
Oh, Rupp skipped off the wall.
Oh, and you want to know what that was? That was Jesus locking it up, trying to keep it off Michael Rupp. How much you want to bet? We'll jump on board with him.
Oh, he tried everything to not hit him.
Yeah, well,
And to
he
take
hit the
himself
inside
out.
wall.
Ooh.
Well, he's able to keep going. He's able to save himself from a tow. Gonna have to hit pit road, get that Lamborghini fixed. Has 2 faster pits. Gonna use one up, but could have been a lot worse, as it looks like Simon Grills with an issue. Very much could be him just blinking out.
Let's see here. Oh no.
Oh, he
Uh,
puts himself in the wall so he doesn't kill. What is that? Nate Orlowski?
That's Nate. That's Nate. I can tell by the diamond plate on the back of that car. I put it on there so people wouldn't dent his car. Hi, Nate.
Don't hit me. I'm a noob.
He's definitely not a noob.
I
Trust
know.
me.
I'm joking.
He's got plenty of experience.
Just getting faster and faster. But it's disgusting right now what we're seeing with these top 2. Already almost 11 seconds ahead of Michael Rupp in 3rd. Scott Ramler in the 57, your lead car. And then you have Ken Huber in the yellow number 20. And then it's, like I said, 11 seconds back to 3rd place. These guys are ripping qualifying laps. As it looks like we have a battle with... Never mind. Josh Vidal just passed Simon Grills. Kind of looked like Simon kind of gave it to him.
Yeah, I think Simon's falling back because he knows he's got a blinking issue.
Is it the blinking issue? Well, it's definitely the blinking issue. Or is there some damage on that number 10?
I'm looking at the car right now. It doesn't look like there's any damage. But, I mean, he could have something bent and we can't see it.
Remember, he kept it in the wall and smacked the wall hard to scrub off speed so he didn't hit Nate. So there very much could be some right front damage on the side of that number 10 for Simon Grills.
Hashtag netcode. All right.
All right. Gap starting to build between Ramler and Huber. But Joe, so far we are 6 races into the Super Tropheo series. How's it been going? Because at the beginning of the season, I was excited for it. I'm happy to get another version of a league that isn't just NASCAR. 6 races in for myself. This is an absolute blast. Going to racetracks that I never would have thought I would have gone to. Now that we're almost halfway through the season, as the league owner, how's it holding up to what you wanted this to be for the first year being a building year?
It has surpassed my expectations. Season 2 is already being planned, and season 2 is going to be epic. We're actually going to probably split up to AM and pro drivers. I've started playing around with that, and I have a lot of exciting new places that we're going to go. Obviously, we're going to stick to what I talked about in the past with going to Daytona, Sebring, Watkins Glen, Indianapolis, and Road Atlanta, because those are our standard tracks that we need to practice all the time for, our team stuff.
Ooh!
And, that was harsh.
That was really hard. Jesus was giving Scott room, but gave him too much room, putting himself in the wall.
Ken's making statements in the chat. Anyways, what I was talking about is we're gonna have newer places that we're going to. There's Portland that just came out. That is definitely on the schedule. That is one of my favorite tracks of all time. We are definitely going there. It's also one that I've actually had the opportunity to drive a vehicle around. It wasn't in the competition, but I was, I took a car around that track. Mid Ohio is being considered. We looked into going to a Pocono road course, and yes, Pocono does have road courses. We're considering one of those. And I got a couple other little tricks up my sleeve for the series, so just hang in tight. Season 2 is definitely being planned. It will happen. I know with some life things that we might have to push back a little bit, but that's up for further discussion later.
We have some pit stops, Joe. Michael Rupp, lap 10, hitting pit road. A 15-second pit stop on pit road for a total of 41. So it looks like he's taking his stop early.
That's a good call.
Especially if
That way,
everybody's going to take it later.
Well, if he undercuts now and he's not around anybody, when you get people together, like when you get a group of cars together trying to get on pit road, that's when incidents happen. So you want to have a gap of some sort. You have a buffer there. Less pressure on you, and you can make up a little bit of time. Obviously, he didn't take tires.
Nope.
So we'll, we're going to have to see how that one plays out.
And out of everybody that isn't Scott Ramler or Ken Huber, he is the fastest driver.
Well, Ken's got something to go for because he's got to make up this gap when they're trying to get around the lapper. Jesus ended up smacking that wall, and now it's put a big gap between. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, but with road courses, Joe, you and I both know, you could have a nice sized lead, but there are so many turns that you could make a mistake on, and that lead can go away in just a sec. The issue is the alien is out front.
Simon is on pit road. Josh Fidel is on pit road.
Ooh, they both look like they're taking tires.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a little costly.
Major cost.
Scott's pulling away from Ken about a half a second that last time by. Rambler with the fastest lap of the session, a 1:23.54 to Ken Huber's 1:24.50, a full second.
I have a statement, but it's not clean.
Yeah, then I wouldn't do it.
It is completely implied, and if you know, you know. Come on, AJ, laugh at that. It was funny.
I am. I'm also trying to comprehend how Scott just pulled away by a second that last time by. The lead's just above 2.5 seconds. Ken, I will say, is faster in the braking zones, but Rambler's more consistent through the full turn. So Rupp has hit pit road. Vidal, Jesus, and Simon all have hit pit road 6 through 9. When are we going to see our top 5 come down pit road?
Possibly soon, because Rambler's about to start dealing with some lap traffic again here. I do believe that's, is that Josh? That
is Josh Vidal.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell that sparkly car anywhere. And yes, it does have sparkles in it if you get close.
Sparkle, sparkle.
Sparkly.
It's one of those vampire movies where they sparkle.
Oh, yeah. We can't name them for copyright reasons.
No, I just don't want to throw it in there that my wife made me watch them.
Hey, you know what? You weren't the only one. I admit it on air.
Simon Grills with another incident out on the racetrack, and this time he's got to jump to pit road. Oh, he's really loose.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, that didn't look too bad.
No, that didn't look bad at all. You could have drove that.
Ken, last time by, 2/10 faster with that lap time. But back to Daniel Krim in third, Jake Zidow in fourth, Nate Arlowski in fifth. Then it's the four drivers that have hit pit road. Michael Rupp in sixth, Josh Vidal in seventh, Jesus Pastillas in eighth, and Simon Grills in ninth. Oh boy. Nate Arlowski on the racetrack with an issue in turn 2. Yeah, there it is. But guess
That's
what?
not the first.
Didn't hit anything.
Way to go, Nate.
Never mind. He hit it turning around. And now Michael Rupp is just about a second behind him. Here comes Nate Arlowski to pit road.
AJ?
Yes, sir.
My air conditioner turned off.
Well, that's not good. It's 30 degrees.
I know. That's later this week.
That gap is still holding still, right above 2 seconds as Ken Huber is hitting pit road. Looking for the undercut as Scott Rambler kills the wall across the start-finish line.
Ooh.
Put some right side damage on the 57. That could be a problem. If he's got to repair some damage on pit road, he's gonna take the fast repair, and God forbid it happens again. They do get 2 of them, but if you don't need to take any, don't take any.
You don't want to take your fast repairs. That is faux show.
That's wild, Joe. Ken Huber in his pit box for 10 seconds on pit road for 36.
Phew.
And guess what?
Phew.
He's still in second place. In the middle of nowhere. 29 seconds ahead, Scott Rambler. Michael Rupp, 28 seconds back. Let's see if we see race leader Scott Rambler hit pit road this time by. No, we do not. As Orlowski with another issue on the racetrack. Come on, switch to it. There you go.
What kind of wall editing is Nate doing here?
I think he was kind of wishing he could have just went straight. Oh, same spot.
Oh!
Same spot Jesus had his issue. And now
Nate,
there is significant damage on the nose.
Nate, you can't park there. As I instructed these guys before, don't park your car on the track. The Chicago Police Department will tow it, and I have firsthand experience with the tow lots in the city of Chicago. They're not fun.
As Jesus is back on pit road after an incident. Let's switch to that. Ooh.
Oh, that car's done.
That left rear toe link is just gone.
It still looks better than some of the Nissan Altimas running around in Nashville.
Hey, whoa. You leave my Nissans alone. I might not drive an Altima, but I do drive a Nissan.
I was not complaining about you. I have first-hand experience with the Altima drivers in Nashville.
It's Ultima. It's all the sedan cars. As Rambler's going to stay out on the racetrack once again. 20 and a half seconds. 20 and a half minutes remaining here during tonight's race. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching. We hope you're enjoying today's broadcast of the All-Star 15 TV Super Tropheo Series. Race number 6 at the Chicago Street Course. Please hit that like button, subscribe, follow. It all helps out the channel. You guys have no idea all the insights we get back on who likes what, who tuned in, who stayed. Doesn't tell us who, but it tells us the number of people. But it very much helps out. Glad to have you guys here. I'm Agent Capola, Joe Hutchings in the broadcast booth. Scott Rambler, currently your race leader. Ken Huber in second. Michael Rupp, third. Daniel Krim, fourth. Jake Zidow in fifth. Josh Vidal, sixth. Nate Orlowski, seventh. Jesus Pastillas in eighth. And in ninth, it's Simon Grills.
Simon Grills was disconnected, by the way.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yes, he texted me saying that the blinking was getting too much. That is very unfortunate.
And Scott's just killing it out there. He has everybody a lap down up to 5th place. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when a lap time is roughly a minute 25, that adds up, and adds up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. 142 miles an hour.
Jeez.
On Lakeshore Drive. I do believe the record on Lakeshore Drive is 177 miles an hour.
I'm guessing that was by you.
Yeah. No, it was a motorcycle driver. I did meet him, though.
Just watching the bumps around this race course in Scott Rambler's Lamborghini. And I know he's in VR. That's got to be a little sickening.
3 roughest tracks I've ever raced on. This one at number 3, Sebring at number 2, and the Cleveland Burke Lakefront Airport on Assetto Corsa. Horrible.
Horrible.
I was losing fillings in my teeth.
Oh, don't
through
say
my
that.
sim rig.
Don't say that.
Through my sim rig.
Ow. Now, Joe, is there any shot that we can see Scott Rambler with this huge lead be able to make it to the finish at all?
This is Scott Rambler, and somehow, some way, people with the name of Scott know how to manufacture fuel with their right foot. So you don't know. This is an interesting strategy. What do they say? What do they say in dodgeball? Bold move or bold strategy. Cotton. Let's hope it works out.
Yeah. Jason Baton. Now, just as a reference point, Michael Rupp pit on lap 10, Josh Vidal lap 11. Then you have Daniel Krim, Jake Zidow, Nate Orlowski on 14, 15 Ken Huber, and 16 Jesus Pastillas. The only one yet to pit, the driver of that 57, Scott Rambler, as looks like we could have a battle brewing. Michael Rupp, Daniel Krim, Jake Zidow within 4 seconds of each other, as Daniel Krim is in the middle of it.
That's a giant blanket still.
Yeah, they're big people.
Hey, now.
You're an all-star?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, finally got me.
And it looks like Josh is... Or... No, that's Jake. Holy cow. Jake is closing in on Daniel Krim.
Wasn't it Jake, one of the guys that took tires?
I think so.
Funny.
Let's see, crossing the line. Oh, Jake was a little slower. I think he lost him in the last couple turns. Just about a tenth slower than Daniel Krim. But both Daniel Krim and Jake Zito were about 0.3 faster than Michael Rupp.
Rambler's still out here in his own world.
Yeah, it's not even close. And Ken and Ken's not even faster. Ken is still 0.3 to a half a second slower a lap. How long does that 57 stay out? And does he even attempt to go from green to checkered? Anything is possible when you put Scott Rambler in a car.
I think I have his strategy figured out. I'm just not going to say it.
No, because there might be some drivers listening to this. But back a little bit further, we're still watching this battle. Rupp, Krim, and Zito. As last time by, Daniel Krim still faster than Michael Rupp. That gap is down to just over a second and a half. There's all three in shot right there. What is this, Columbus Ave?
Yeah. Coming back to Balbo.
You know, you were going through that and all I did was picture cops when they're in the helicopter.
You know? Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
And I know you have a soundboard to make it sound like that. Don't do it.
I won't. Oh, it looks like Jesus decided to disconnect. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was not having a good night here.
And Rambler's on pit road.
Yes, he is. Took him long enough. Just about 7 laps, 8 laps separating Ken Huber coming to pit road to Scott Rambler. And we're going to watch that lead shrink. But you know that 57's just taking fuel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 12 minutes left in the race. As long as he doesn't.
11-second pit stop. Back out on the racetrack. That gap right there. There they are, both on the same straightaway now. 3.5 seconds separating both of them.
Now, who's on the lighter fuel load?
I would assume it's Scott.
Oh, for sure. Or they're slightly matched.
But everybody watching,
we'll find out during the lap times.
everybody watching at home, it is time. Pit stops have ended. We are going to take a quick commercial break. You guys are not going to miss a thing. We're going side by side from the Chicago Street Course.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green.
He's got the run, but isn't enough. It's a drag race to the finish. Goldberg goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
And there it is, green flag in the air, and we are a go.
Curb, curb, curb again.
Oh! And he's gonna make it work as they're 3/10 back.
Sir, you can't park there.
And we're back. We're under 7 minutes remaining in race number 6 of the All-Star 15 TV Super Tropheo Series from the Chicago Street Course. Scott Ramler with just about a 3-second lead over Ken Huber. 47, almost 48 seconds back to third. Michael Rupp, Daniel Krim fourth, Jake Zedau fifth, Nate Orlowski sixth, Josh Vidal seventh. Jesus Pastillas and Simon Grills, your 8 and 9, are both out of the race tonight. Joe, that 57 has been absolutely on fire all night long.
You might as well just call him a conductor because he's been on a rail.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. And it really looks like there's nothing Ken can do Ken's been very consistent throughout tonight's race. Consistent lap times, hasn't had issues hitting the wall, but it's Scott just putting qualifying laps out there that even in practice when Ken and Scott were trading fastest laps, there became a point where Scott just said, "I'm done playing," and put a lap time almost a half a second faster.
Yeah, he's gonna try to get the fastest lap every time there's a practice. I'm sorry, it's just his competitive nature. He doesn't stop on the racetrack. You know, practices, qualifying, maybe on the street. I don't know. I've never seen him drive. But yeah, you know, that's just his competitive nature.
And don't go anywhere. It looks like our top 3 are in the Discord, so we will have interviews post race. But Joe, just looking at what we've seen so far, it's been crazy. As it looks like we've got a battle brewing. Jake Zito, Daniel Krim within a second on the racetrack. Brian Fry, thank you on TikTok for all those likes. Appreciate it, pal.
Nate just bumped the wall going back on the Lakeshore Drive. Not much. Not
There's
not
so
crazy.
much damage on Nate's Lamborghini. It's not even funny. His team is gonna have to buff a lot of that race car out.
Yeah. But he's got a lot of can do and not a lot of give up. So he's still out there turning laps, getting experience.
Well, Joe, next week we are going to have a lot of fun. We go from Chicago back to Florida. It's the Daytona road course.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and a lot of people are going to have to tune in and watch that because that is a racetrack where a lot of these drivers that we have in this league run the 24-hour race. They run the Roar and a lot of other officials on the road course. That should be a very, very competitive race throughout the field.
Oh, yeah, we should have multiple drivers running out front.
There's the
Yeah,
battle,
just watching
Daniel
this.
Krim and Jake Zito.
I think this is your difference between no tires and tires. Boy, would that be something that Daniel Krim goes and rips third place out from underneath Rupp. He stole a win in A-Car last week.
He very much did. His first A-Car victory. But looking at lap times, Krim a second faster than Rupp last time by, and there's under 2 minutes left in the sim. He's going to have to really hit the loud pedal and close in on Michael Rupp to even give it a shot.
Well, he can get close all he wants, but getting around Rupp is pretty rough.
And I know Daniel Krim doesn't want to rough up Michael Rupp. As Scott Rambler puts another qualifying lap on the board, a 1:23.49. The second best, or the second fastest lap time is a 1:24.29. That's 0.8 faster.
Scott's gonna have to start in the back of the field at Daytona.
Telling you, just Just let them get out of the infield and then send him. That's a race you should have a full transition from day to night to day again.
Oh God, no! I've been playing around with the settings. We were supposed to have a night race for Homestead. We were supposed to have a night into day transition last week, and I give up.
Hey, it all worked out. It was still a
day.
really good race.
Race Daytona. Put a pull up in the Indianapolis. We want to race Daytona at night. That'd be fun.
I'd like to do the full 8 hours or the 24 hours of Daytona in
45 minutes?
In 45 minutes, as we are on the white flag lap. Scott Rambler through the final couple turns with a 7-second lead over Ken Huber. 1 turn to go. And Scott Rambler is going to win the Chicago Street Course. Ken Huber coming by the start-finish line now, coming home in second. We have time. We have a lot of time before Michael Rupp gets there. But who knows? Daniel Krim is less than a second back.
Yeah, they're coming up. Come over the railroad tracks here.
8/10 separating them.
Oh, Krim. Oh, he's trying to overdrive the car. He's trying everything.
Him trying everything just gave it away. Over a second now. All three going into the final turn. Michael Rupp is gonna come across the line. P3 followed by Daniel Krim and Jake Zito. Josh Vidal in 6th, Nate Orlowski 7th, Jesus Pastillas in 8th, and Simon Grills in 9th. Jumping to Scott because he should be going backwards right about now.
Mm-hmm.
With the all-seeing eye helmet.
And now Rupp's going backwards.
I'll let them have their fun. But there are your race results. Thank you everybody once again for tuning in to All-Star 15 TV's broadcast of the Super Tropheo Series, race number 6 here at the Chicago Street Course, won by Scott Rambler. 2nd place, Ken Huber. 3rd, Michael Rupp. Daniel Krim in 4th. Jake Zito in 5th. Josh Vidal 6th. Nate Orlowski 7th. Jesus Pastillas in 8th. 9th, and Simon Grills. Oh! We'll see if we can get a word with our podium drivers momentarily. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. All right, starting off with P number 3. It's the driver of the number 9. It's Michael Rupp. Mike, congratulations holding off Daniel Krim and Jake Zito. What a fun event here this evening. Talk about it, pal.
Well, it started off, I had Jesus right on my rear bumper for the first few laps. I don't know what happened to him. I kind of saw him spin in my rear mirror. And then after that, I was kind of in no man's land, just kind of running my own race and maintaining my distance to Krim. He kind of caught up to me at the end and maintained pace with me as I picked it up. But overall, I just held him off.
You guys were putting out one hell of a show for that battle for third. It was no contest up front, so thank you for giving us something to enjoy throughout the race. We go from the streets of Chicago all the way down to Daytona Beach for the Daytona road course. How excited are you to get down there and run that historical racetrack with these Lamborghinis?
I think it should be a pretty fun race. A lot of drafting. Between the 24 hours of Daytona, I'd probably say I've run thousands of laps around there, so should be a fun race.
All right, brother. Well, talking with us, I really appreciate it. Before we let you go, any sponsors on that number 9 Lamborghini that you would like to plug?
I do not have any.
All right, pal. Well, thanks for chatting with us. I appreciate you giving your time and talking about the race and talking about next week. We'll hopefully talk to you at Daytona.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a common occurrence lately, so I'm not going to complain.
See you later, pal.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, Joe. Take second place. That is the driver of the number 20. It's Ken Huber.
Hey, it's AJ and Joe. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Congratulations on second place.
I tried,
It looks
man.
like
I tried.
it looks like you guys are making it a really, really tight points battle.
Yeah, no, it was a good race too. It's just I was a victim of circumstances, so it's just the way it works out sometimes.
Yeah.
And Scott, congrats to Scott. He was super fast tonight too. So I didn't quite have his speed, but I was also I didn't have the ability to throw it in there as hard as he was. I was like, I'm gonna save my car. I'm not gonna throw it up against the walls.
Did you have some sort of pit strategy? Were you talking out with the other guys and what you guys were gonna or what you were gonna do? Explain how that all worked out there.
Street circuits. So with street circuits, it's very difficult to pass. And so I was noticing that Scott and I were catching lap traffic, and I really wasn't planning on pitting there. But I looked at my relative and I said, and I didn't see any lead lap cars that were going to interfere when I came back out. So I was like, well, I'll come in and take my chances, come in early and see if Scott gets held up by some of those lap cars that he was coming up on. But he obviously didn't, and it didn't work out for me. So just it's one of those things you gamble or roll the dice, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you got any sponsors you want to plug? Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, just thank you guys for the broadcast, the league, Joe. It's been a lot of fun. So that was fun. I never raced here before. I just bought the track, so it was definitely interesting.
Well, I'm glad you had fun with it, and congrats on your second place.
All right, thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Ken Huber talking with us for his second place interview, but it is time to talk to the man of the hour. It's the driver of the number 57, completely kicked an ungodly amount of ass here this evening. It's Scott Ramler. Dude, why? Why? You're starting from pit road next time.
I mean, if that's what they want to do to me, they can.
And no. What a race you had tonight. Led every lap. You smoked the field. It was just as bad as Kyle Busch in I think the trucks at Coda a couple years ago, where he waxed the field by almost a minute. But how was it out there? Because you made everything look super easy.
Well, for the most part, I was just saving fuel. As soon as I got the gap to Ken, I started fuel saving and just chilling out. And I think he started picking up on that. He pit early to try and undercut me. And if I had just kept going on my merry way, I wouldn't have noticed. But I pulled up my relative and saw that he had disappeared. And I knew that going through pit road was going to be a give or take about 30 seconds. And he had the gap to about 27.5. So I had to pick the pace back up before I went into pit road to cover that off, and it only left me with about 3.5 seconds by the time I pit. And I think I pit with about 34 seconds. So if I hadn't paid attention and seen that he went for the undercut, then this could have been a completely different race.
Yeah, because at the end of the race, he got, I think, all the way up to about a 2-second time gap between you two. And then you started to pull away once again. But overall, a absolute butt kicking for you out on the racetrack. Well, we go to Daytona for the Daytona road course. I want to say that's more an even playing field for a lot of these drivers because, as you know, and Joe knows, a lot of them run the 24 hours. They consider that a racetrack where you put hundreds, if not thousands, of hours in. What are you expecting, not just for yourself, but the competition you might face next week?
I have a feeling it's going to be a heck of a lot closer at Daytona than it's going to be anywhere else. Unfortunately, I had to miss Sebring, so I didn't really get to see how tight the racing was there. But when it comes to these endurance races, Daytona, Sebring, Nürburgring, a lot of the big name races are what people spend weeks and months at a time just fine tuning the cars and really getting used to the racetrack. So we should have a lot more than just two people fighting for the lead when it comes to Daytona.
Yeah, I'm excited to get down to Daytona where it's, hopefully going to be nice and sunny and not disgusting, humid, and rainy. But Scott, thank you for coming and talking with us. But before we let you go and enjoy the win, plug those beautiful sponsors you have on that number 57.
Of course, got to thank McConey Setup Shop and Jeff McConey. Yet another dub to go into the shop for him. JVM Graphics, Fry Trucking, JTZ Home Services, and All Star 15 with that big old logo on the back of the car. Thanks to you, AJ, for broadcasting everything and doing our commentary every week. And thanks to Joe for putting everything on.
All right, pal. Well, thank you again for the time to come talk with us. We'll see you at Daytona and try not to get sunburned on the beach while you wait for the race.
I'm pasty, AJ. You might need to help me with the sunscreen.
No, I asked Joe. I ain't touching you. See you later, Scott.
See you guys.
Joe, take us home, pal.
Well, I took the time to actually do the points right now. Ken Huber is leading 57 to Scott Ramler's 42, and a surprise Josh Fadal in third place with 34 points, closely followed by Daniel Krim at 32. Michael Rupp, who missed the first two races of this series, has 31 points in sixth place.
Wow.
And followed up with Wyatt Franklin, Jake Zado, Michael Clark, Dalton Fredericks, Nate Orlowski, and Roger Rios Mateus. Those are our points drivers. But Ken Huber out front right now, and it's a pretty substantial margin.
Wow. All right. Well, we still have half the season to go. A lot can change. You want to join? We run in hosted lobbies. Just get the Lamborghini. And yeah, we're going to Daytona next week. Glad to have you all here. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. For Joe Hutchings, I'm AJ Capola, and we will see you tomorrow night for A-Car at Darlington.